Late-night television took a wild turn last night when Representative Jasmine Crockett appeared on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, sparking a confrontation that's already making headlines. Sources say the Texas congresswoman, known for her fiery rhetoric, walked onto the set ready to challenge the host, who's built a career on sharp political satire. What started as a routine interview quickly escalated into a clash no one saw coming, leaving viewers stunned and the internet buzzing. Before we dive in, let me know where you're watching from in the comments, and hit subscribe for more stories like this. Crockett, a former lawyer turned rising political star, has never shied away from a fight, and last night was no exception. Colbert kicked things off with a pointed question, asking if she was there to defend her record or just to spar verbally. "Stephen, I'm here because I don't run," she replied, flipping the script by questioning how often he dodges tough issues himself. The exchange set the tone early. Colbert, leaning on his comedic roots, played a clip of Crockett's recent viral House speech, where she dismantled an opponent's argument with precision. "Impressive," he said, "but is there a plan behind the passion, or just noise?" Crockett fired back, claiming her strategy's clear to anyone paying attention, and accused him of prioritizing laughs over substance. Within minutes, the interview veered off script, with insiders saying producers were already sweating as the tension mounted. What's got people talking isn't just the back and forth, but how fast it unraveled. Crockett's refusal to play the typical guest role, smiling through jabs, threw Colbert off his game. By the segment's end, reports claimed the host's usual control was slipping, with the audience split between cheers and gasps. Political analysts are already weighing in, saying this could mark a shift in how elected officials tackle late-night appearances. Was this a calculated move by Crockett to flex her clout, or a spontaneous blow-up? The answer's still unfolding, but one thing's clear: the night was far from over. Sources close to the production say the real fireworks were just beginning, with Crockett doubling down and Colbert scrambling to keep up. The clash between Representative Jasmine Crockett and Stephen Colbert on The Late Show last night didn't just simmer, it boiled over, with sources saying the production team was blindsided by the intensity. After Crockett accused Colbert of dodging real issues, insiders report the host decided to push back harder, turning the interview into a full-on showdown. What unfolded next has late-night watchers and political junkies alike dissecting every move, as the Texas congresswoman refused to let the segment slide into familiar territory. Colbert, known for his knack at turning tough topics into punchlines, went straight for Crockett's record. "Your district's got sky-high poverty," he said, pressing her on why she's spending time battling in Congress instead of fixing it. Crockett didn't hesitate, calling out the question as naive. "Poverty's not a soundbite solution," she countered, pivoting to slam tax breaks for the wealthy that she claims Colbert's circle ignores. The rebuttal hit hard, with audience reactions splitting the room, some cheering her on, others murmuring dissent. Not one to back off, Colbert dug into a supposed ethics probe tied to Crockett's campaign funds, a fictional scandal cooked up. For the moment, he flashed a headline on screen, pushing her to explain. "That's a ghost story," she snapped, dismissing it as media fluff and flipping the heat back on him. "What about your big pharma sponsors?" she asked, hinting at cozy ties behind his show's budget. Insiders say that's when the segment truly derailed, with producers signaling for a break, only to see Crockett keep talking. Her refusal to pause threw the show into chaos. "You don't cut away that easy," she declared loud and clear as the mic stayed hot. Sources claim Colbert's team was rattled, with one producer later admitting they hadn't prepped for a guest this unrelenting. The audience fed off it, their noise growing, while online clips started circulating within minutes. Political commentators are now saying Crockett's move was a masterstroke, turning a late-night slot into a platform to call out the media's game. But the night's biggest twist was still ahead, with tensions hitting a peak that no one, not even the crew, could contain. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert turned into a powder keg last night, as Representative Jasmine Crockett pushed the confrontation with the host past the breaking point. After refusing to let producers cut to a break, sources say Crockett's defiance sent the segment spiraling, with Colbert struggling to regain footing. What happened next has sparked debates about power dynamics in media, as the Texas congresswoman took the fight to a level rarely seen on late-night TV. Colbert, visibly rattled, tried to pivot. "You're making this interesting, Jasmine," he said, forcing a smile before hitting her with a fresh jab about a fictional donor dinner with oil execs. "How's that fit your little guy image?" he asked, flashing a doctored photo on screen. Crockett didn't flinch, calling it a lie outright. "That was a fundraiser for my community," she shot back, then turned the tables. "You're not a journalist, Stephen. You're a salesman. Who's bankrolling your truth?" The accusation landed like a grenade, with the audience erupting, some shouting support, others booing. Insiders report the room was electric, the crowd's energy feeding the chaos. Crockett pressed on, standing to address them directly. "This is what they hide," she said, pointing at Colbert. "The mask's off now." Sources say that's when Colbert snapped, slamming his desk and cutting her off. "That's enough," he barked. "You don't run this show." But Crockett fired back, "It's not your kingdom," and the exchange hit a fever pitch. Producers waved security in, but the feed stayed live, broadcasting every word to a stunned audience at home. The standoff peaked when Colbert muttered, "Get her out," a slip caught by the mics. Crockett heard it, spinning on him. "You don't dismiss me," she declared, stepping toward the stage's edge. Sources say security hesitated, unsure how to handle a congresswoman mid-broadcast, while viewers flooded social media with reactions. Analysts are calling it a rare moment of unfiltered TV, with Crockett exposing the fragility of curated late-night narratives. By the time the feed cut, the damage was done, and the night's aftermath was already shaping up to be a bigger story. Then the clash itself. The fallout from Representative Jasmine Crockett's explosive showdown with Stephen Colbert on The Late Show last night didn't just end when the cameras cut. It erupted into a full-blown media storm that's still gaining steam. Sources say, the moment Crockett ripped off her mic, declaring, "I walk when I'm done," and strode off the set, she left behind a stunned host, a rattled crew, and an audience that couldn't stop buzzing. Colbert's quiet order to "get her out," picked up by the live mics, became the soundbite of the night, sealing the clash as a defining moment in late-night history. What happened next, though, is where the real story unfolds, with repercussions rippling far beyond the studio walls. Insiders report that as the feed finally went dark, Colbert stayed seated, staring at the desk where his cracked mug sat as a silent witness to the chaos. The production team leapt into action, with producers shouting into headsets, trying to figure out how to spin a segment that had spiraled so far off the rails. One source claims the control room was a war zone, with staff debating whether to lean into the drama for ratings or bury it with a quick apology. Meanwhile, Crockett didn't pause to catch her breath. She hit the exit doors, heels echoing down the hallway, and within 10 minutes, her phone was out, firing off a tweet that lit the internet ablaze. "Told y'all I don't play. They can't silence what's real." By sunrise, it had over 50,000 retweets, with hashtags like Crockett vs. Colbert and Mask Off trending worldwide. The online reaction was immediate and ferocious. Clips of the confrontation, some from the broadcast, others shaky phone footage from the audience, flooded platforms like X and TikTok, racking up millions of views. Supporters hailed Crockett as a hero, with one viral post calling her the voice that broke the late-night machine. Critics, though, slammed her as reckless, arguing she'd turned a guest spot into a cheap publicity grab. Political analysts jumped in, dissecting the clash as a masterclass in power dynamics. "She didn't just challenge Colbert," one pundit said on a morning news panel. She exposed how fragile these curated spaces are when someone refuses to play along. Another suggested it could redefine how politicians approach media, especially younger, bolder figures like Crockett. Back at the Late Show, the mood was grim. Sources say Colbert retreated to his office after the taping, skipping the usual post-show debrief with staff. One insider claims he was overheard muttering about guests who think they're the star, a rare glimpse of frustration from a host known for his unflappable charm. The network execs, though, saw a silver lining. Overnight ratings spiked 30% above average, the highest in months. "It's a mess, but it's a gold mine," a producer admitted off-record, hinting the team might lean into the controversy, rather than downplay it. Still, the hit to Colbert's image stung. Pundits speculated he'd underestimated Crockett, expecting her to fold under his usual mix of wit and jabs, only to find himself outmatched. Crockett, meanwhile, was already capitalizing on the moment. Sources close to her say she spent the early hours fielding calls from allies in Congress, who saw the clash as a chance to rally her base. A rumored appearance on a rival talk show is reportedly in the works, with whispers she might use it to double down on her critique of mainstream media. Her team's silence on the ethics probe and donor dinner accusations, fictional or not, only fueled speculation, with some saying she's letting the narrative simmer to keep her name in the spotlight. "She's playing chess, not checkers," a political strategist noted, suggesting this could propel her toward a bigger stage, maybe even a 2026 Senate run. The broader fallout's still taking shape. Media watchers are calling it a wake-up call for late-night TV, a format that's thrived on predictability but might not survive guests like Crockett, who refuse to stick to the script. Some predict networks will tighten guest vetting, while others think they'll chase the chaos, booking more firebrands to replicate the buzz. For viewers, it split the room. Half see Crockett as a truth-teller dismantling a smug elite. Half view Colbert as a victim of an ungracious guest. Online forums are ablaze with takes, from memes of Crockett's mic drop to doctored clips of Colbert's stunned face, captioned, "When your roast backfires." By midday, the headlines were unrelenting. "Crockett crushes Colbert," blared one outlet, while another asked, "Has late night lost its edge?" The congresswoman's supporters flooded her district office with calls, urging her to keep fighting, while Colbert's team prepped a carefully worded statement for the next broadcast, reportedly set to frame it as a lively exchange gone awry. Whatever the spin, the night cemented itself as a turning point.